We are in the thick of summer. That could mean adding some more summer sizzle to your relationship.
All right, this morning on our Love in the Morning segment, we have everything from handling conflict, power struggles, and those difficult conversations around money. Joining us live now to answer those questions is certified relationship and marriage coach Jennifer Blank-Cool. Good morning, great to see you.
Good morning. Great to see you guys, Travis and Emma. Thanks for having me again.
Of
Of
course, always,
course.
always great to have you back. All right, let's jump right into it. First question is from a viewer named Ann. So she asks, I'm a people pleaser by nature and tend to avoid conflict whenever possible. My fiance, on the other hand, embraces conflict. How can I get more comfortable with the times we're not getting along?
That's a great question, Anne. I love it. So ask your fiance out of the gate, what does he get from embracing conflict? I can't help but assume that there's a world of detail there that you might not have that you can gain by asking that key question to start with. Secondly, I hope it brings some peace to your heart that according to Gottman, who is a world-renowned relationship expert, nearly 70% of marital or love relationship conflicts are perpetual or essentially unresolvable. And that just cuts down to the fact that people in relationships are different human beings. We're cut from different cloths. We're coming from different personalities, different temperaments, different backgrounds, different role models, on and on. So it's very human and very normal and natural that even the far majority of things you won't align on. And so I hope that fact, that data alone can help relieve the expectation that we're all supposed to align and get along. And on top of that, research continues to show over and over again, the happiest couples are not the ones that don't fight or avoid fighting. They're truly the ones that roll up their sleeves and get to work in conflict, but they navigate their conflicts with love and respect, and they avoid those deadly four horsemen that will destroy your relationship: criticism, contempt, conflict, or excuse me, defensiveness, stonewalling. So staying away from those, but being okay with conflict is essentially where it's at.
I definitely would consider myself someone who embraces conflict, not because I want to fight all the time. Travis, stop laughing.
I'm going to laugh at that.
Not because I want to fight all the time, but because, like you mentioned, I want to talk it out, get it out there, be done with it, and know each other better at the end. So,
Absolutely.
exactly.
It's a great gateway to intimacy.
Absolutely. Our next question is anonymous. They ask, my wife and my brother, who I'm very close to, do not get along. It's been a decade-long struggle. How can I best handle feeling caught in the middle?
Anonymous, you're not alone. My heart goes to what's great about this question. I'm making an assumption that if you're still tight with your wife and your brother, you're so loved. You've got a couple, people in your life that, might need things from you. They might want things from you that they're not getting. So underneath any power struggle in a relationship is a set of unmet needs or wants the far majority of the time. So if you can get real and vulnerable with each other, and again, kind of going back to that previous question, get okay with conflict, but have that more vulnerable dialogue around what everybody needs and wants. Because it's likely that perhaps your brother misses riding motorcycles with you like he used to do before you got married, or, so usually there's a lot of high intent under those complaints or those power struggles. So have that open dialogue where you can find out that information.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All right, our last question is from another anonymous viewer. They ask, how do my partner and I talk about money and finances calmly and productively? Now, this topic emotionally triggers us both and leads to explosive arguments. So how do we change this? The financial conversation is always one that is tough for a lot of people.
Absolutely, Travis. This is a very common pain point. So firstly, don't have this conversation triggered. I know this is much easier said than done, but having a regularly scheduled, safe, loving container that you come to, say once a month as an example, where you talk about finances, because it's too easy to get trapped in the emotions of it when we're triggered. So try to have those more ongoing, regular conversations around money and finances. And then even more importantly, I believe, is looking at money as merely a vehicle. Money allows us to get needs and wants and desires met. So get out of the who's spending money on what and the triggering around that, and get back to the basics of what do you want from money? What do you want from your end goals around finances? aligning on what you have in common, and then seeing your normal differences, but seeing what higher intentions are underneath those differences opens up a whole different dialogue around money. I hope that makes sense.
No, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. These all boil down to understanding and intent, is what I'm.
I think this is kind of, I'm not sure if this is a great question, but I am curious if this particular conversation around finance has become a bigger sticking point over the last 2 to 3 years because of the pandemic, inflation. What have you seen?
For sure, Travis, great point. You know, in my work, it's always a sticking point, but for sure, you know, COVID, the pandemic, world events have really instilled a high level of uncertainty and anxiety in people. And so money being a vehicle that allows people to feel certain or shed some anxiety, yeah, it's definitely a hotter topic these last couple of years. Great
Yeah,
point, Travis.
makes sense.
Absolutely. Well, Jennifer, again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Travis and Emma. Great to see you guys. Thanks
Great
for
to
having
see
me.
you too.
We'll see you again soon. And if you have a question for our relationship expert, please send us a message right now on the KOIN News AM Extra Facebook or Instagram page. Your question might be answered right here on the show, and you can remain anonymous.
I'll say it for Emily. Normally, she's the one who always says this. Slide into our DMs.
Slide into our
There you go.
DMs.
See,
We
I
can
can't let
help.
it die. Even when Emily's not here, make sure it gets said. All right.